Well, my solution is bring back the rapid response.
No, see, if that was
So I just came home last week Monday and had so much stuff happening. I work on a cruise ship. I just on vacation.
Not everyone that's in the prison that is guilty, but we have a university center criminal.
Hear ye, hear ye. The 5th gathering of the People's Street Assembly is now called to order. I'm your presiding host, Rochelle Gonzalez, and this is SoLucians. Answers from the people. Simple solutions offered by SoLucians. As usual, we place 2 issues on the table and let the people offer their solutions to the problems. Let's look at our first issue for the day. It's 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. You're walking through the streets of Castries, but it seems more like you're trekking through a jungle of juveniles. Children everywhere, and not heading home. They're just hanging around town. First question. What is your solution to the large number of students loitering around the city on afternoons? Let's go to the streets for our first set of solutions.
Well, I have a problem with kids loitering after school. There's so much that they could do. For example, go home, study, find things to do, lessons, go learn something, music, dance, find something to do. The parents need to take charge of the kids. They need to know where they are. Look after them, see that they are home on time.
The only remedy we have to avoid those kids from loitering around is if only we can re-implement the bus system. Well, I remember when I went to school in the early 70s, buses were picking me up by my house, and after school pick me up by the school and take me back home. I had no time to come to town and lime around the place and so on. Right now, the kids have so much liberty, so much freedom, that they come around and they lime around the mall, they lime all around the stairs and everything, and they crowd it up. The only remedy we have right now is put a curfew in place and get the bus system back.
I say basically what parents should do, like more talk to their children on how and what to do when they leave school. If to come home or if they are going to lessons, anything else after that should be at the home.
The police should be coming to the mall more often. Because we guards, it's terrifying. Sometimes we talk to them, they block the way, they give you attitude, we get insults. And I find it's very going out of the way. This new year, if people out there that hear me, they have to put that in consideration, murders especially.
Well, I believe the solution to children loitering is really a problem that probably can never be solved. But I believe the parents have to instill morals and values to the children that will help them grow up knowing the fact that when school over, they're supposed to go home, or they have to do something to do it and go home. But the thing about loitering, that is something really have to do with the children per se, knowing the fact that they need to go home at a certain time. But the parents now have to instill that in them, because I believe the parents rely too much on the government to do certain things as to make the children go at the home. To me, that is something that has to do with the parents and the children.
Personally, I think the government should pay more attention to extracurricular activities, not just sports, because sports requires a lot of attention and mind and as well time management. So if you focus on extracurricular activities that require less strenuous activity on behalf of children, vary it, spread it out, give them something to do at the end of the day, more or less something fun, captivating.
They should have more activities for the children at school, like maybe more clubs or some other clubs in town for them to lime instead of coming all around here. They could do that. That would be good.
This is a concern that has plagued the society for a while. I think there should be some measures taken, but those measures should reflect the society's values in terms of giving kids their liberty to have leisure, appropriate leisure, at the same time curbing the possibility for criminal activity.
It's very simple. I believe that we just have to strengthen the law, or just make sure that they stick to the law. I believe places like Barbados right now, there is something that's in place where after school, children don't loiter all over the place anymore. And I think because the policemen come out and they make certain that children go home, they make certain that they get out of uniform if they're going to come back in town. And I believe we have to do the same thing. I think we have set something like that in place, but we need to actually make sure we stand behind it. And it's all going to be okay. It's not a difficult thing at all.
Kids loitering is a sacrifice of everybody. Hence the reason the government wants to build, in other words, to solve this problem. So that's how I see it. So the children, they has been forsaken. Somebody has to take care of them. And who? It's the government. Everybody's government. Government have nothing. Your children, my children, our children. We have to sacrifice.
Well, the solution is the school have to play a part and the parents have to play a part also. The students, at least, when they have to obey their parents. If you're my child, I ask you to be home after school a certain time, I have to see that you are there, and if you're not there for that time, you have to give an answer why you're not home at the time. And also even St. Joseph Convent School, which have been a very disciplined, the students have been so disciplined, now I realize that they're on the streets like the other schools, and I'm very disappointed in the St. Joseph's Convent students too. So the students, the parents of the students have a part to play, the school has a part to play, and even the police have a part to play too.
Okay, well, I just think that the parents should be more mindful of the children, and if the government wants to get involved in that as a government action, they should probably put a curfew for the children to get them home on time. So you know that school is over at 3 o'clock, then maybe the curfew should start from about 4:30, 5 o'clock, that no children should be in Castries with their uniform at that time. If you have to be in Castries, you are accompanied with a parent, an adult, or you're home.
I was actually saying to my friend recently that I don't think that there is enough for the children or the young people to do after school or at any time really. I noticed at New Year's there was just lots and lots of children in the street doing nothing except maybe drinking, maybe being sick. And that's not really good enough for a middle-income country like St. Lucia to not have anywhere where their young people can go, because that's your future, the young people, you know. So no youth clubs, nowhere to go, and nobody's helping them to do anything. I have a friend in Soufrière who does a football. He does football every weekend. He does it out of his own time, and a lot of it is out of his own pocket. And when we're asking, or when he's asking for sponsorship or contributions, none of the government agencies or nobody wants to know. But yet, when they're winning their trophies and their teams, yes, you know, but he's done that himself. So my opinion is not enough, is being done for the young people in St. Lucia. And unless this problem is addressed, I think that St. Lucia is going to have a lot of difficulty with the young people, and crime is going to rise because there's nothing to do. There's no training provided. I'm not St. Lucian, but this is my observation.
I feel they should have some special officers to do that. So after school, they'll have to see that they go home after school, that they don't stay overtime on the streets.
I think parents should really take better precautions for the children. You understand? And I mean, adults too, that, you know, that seeing them around the place could actually ask them to, you know, go home. The police self could come in, you know, do something, maybe take a few hours from the government work after, you know, maybe 2 o'clock, and then come and see what's going on at Blue Coral, because, you know, sometimes it does be a hassle here with the children, and they are very rude, and if you hit them, the parents will come after you, you understand? So I really think, like, it's either the parents try to put some good preparations for the children, or maybe the government himself try to maybe have some special activity after school, or, you know, where the children can go to, you understand, instead of just being all around the place like little, I don't even know what to say. That's what I have to say.
These were some of the solutions from the people. We'll take a break now. When we come back, more solutions. Welcome back to Solutions. We asked the people for ways to deal with the large number of students loitering around the city after school. Let's hear some more solutions.
Well, the loitering, I think that the parents and the people around here should stop it, because I don't think it's something that should happen, because on an afternoon it's really ridiculous. I think the kids, so the parents too, should know where the kids are after school. I mean, right now we're in a modern day. Everybody has cell phones. Everybody should know where their kids are. Not if I have my daughter would not be here after school. I would know where she is, every minute of the day, what she's doing. But they shouldn't be around it. We need to do something. I think the owner of this place should do something, or even the police should do something different just to make sure that those things stop, because it's getting worse and every day it's a problem. We need to do, and not only the police, but we too as parents need to do something. We need to look up to do something. Not only, we're not supposed to give things like that to the police and the parents alone. All of us are supposed to be together as one unity, one parent, and see what we could do to get it better.
Parents should be more responsible. They're pretending that the kids are in charge, but the only time they're in charge when they have to spend money to buy expensive shoes, expensive clothes, pay school fees, then they are in charge. But when to put discipline in the kids, they are not willing to do that. So the best thing I would advise them, start taking on their responsibility and demand respect from the kids and see that they don't remain in town. The people who are saying that they don't have a place to go, let them find themselves at their home. And if they stay home, if they can behave in the street, they will behave at their home.
Yeah, what I could say about after school, like when the children are around town, the parents and them working, sometimes both parents working, sometimes one taking care of the children, the other one irresponsible at all. It goes on both sides, male and female. You understand? And plus again, the criminal activity, the way I myself seeing it and how I feel in it, you see. Like the children have been taught bad education. All the man they're telling us about, there was great man, John Hawkins, all them pirates, all like Christopher Columbus. All what them man was doing was kidnapping, raping and thieving. So, and right now, where I raised, when I was a kid, we used to go in the toy shops and they used to give us gun and thing, So right now the kids seeing that on the television and they raised with them thing and seeing how to do robbery and thing. So that just trickle up, their mind. So they have to go through all what, see that happening there, because it's the people and them that set the system. It's a program, to have the people in a circle and the people can't think for themselves. Out of 100% of your brain, of our brain, is only 10% that working, and the 90% it block, So it's what the children seeing. So that is what they're doing, because all them television thing, it ain't really nothing, good, for the children, Unless things that are supposed to be playing on television, that is what they are playing. Plus the radio station of all what they're promoting, So you understand? So that is, well, I can't say nothing because I ain't making law, because, I'm a political offender. You understand? And it's straight so.
Loitering after school. I mean, the system should have something in place, man, where these kids, as soon as they leave school, they're supposed to find their way home. Not on the streets loitering all around, I mean, this is wrong, and I'm not supporting that. Because I've been watching, I've been seeing all that's going on, the school children, all on the streets, but sometimes the people and then that are shopping, sometimes they don't even give them space for them to maneuver, you understand? So I feel the government should do something, should put something in place to get rid of this, what word should I use there? Oh, yeah, man.
I think the children, there should be some kind of restriction on the people. First, I would say the parents have to speak to the children. The school, they have to speak to the children concerning that. I wouldn't say it is appropriate for the police to come and handle the children and kind of things like that. The Ministry of Education should try to put something in place, create a format for the children for after school, knowing that after school, kids don't have to loiter in town. Concerning crime, criminal activities, I would rather say that majority of the children who are coming from ghettos, in majority of the ghettos, what the children see is bare crime and violence. Police coming in with guns, maybe youngsters shooting one another. I think those are the things we have to look at. We cannot just condemn or judge the children. I want to put things in the proper perspective, how I'm seeing it. We have to try our best, we the people of St. Lucia, the parents. We have to speak to our children. We cannot leave it all up onto the teachers. Sometimes the teachers get frustrated. They have their own responsibilities. They have the children too. But I mean, we speak to our children. They get some from the teachers. If the teachers don't have it all, the Ministry of Education should create some kind of format for the schools. Give it to them, whether from Form 2, Form 3, Form 4. If it's the children from secondary that creating the problems, let's have something in place for them. And prior to that, at the primary, we should create some new things in the primary school for the children to keep them away from crime. So by the time they leave primary and they go to secondary, they're already aware of what is happening in the system.
There's somebody I really want presence around. More police presence I think would definitely go a long way into curbing kids loitering in the afternoon.
I think they should have a curfew. Should really have a curfew on school children. And one of the major problems now is the people that selling alcohol to minors. I think if we take care of that, the violence between them little children could cool out.
That was our first set of solutions. Let's go to our next question. The Prime Minister's long-awaited address on wage negotiations with civil servants stirred up quite a muddle of mixed opinions and emotions last Sunday night. By Monday morning, the country was embroiled in mini debates from street corners to office water coolers. We asked the people, what is your solution to the impasse on wage negotiations between the government and the unions? Let's go to the streets.
Nobody, the government and the union, that is something that to me that's supposed to be agreed amicably. Like the way I see that the government is supposed to come to the union agreement and the union is supposed to the government agreement. So they're supposed to have a mutual understanding. But the thing about increasing pay, to me as workers, to me the money you give will never be enough. You'll always want more and more. So it's just that the government and the union is supposed to come to a mutual understanding for the benefit of the country rather than for the benefit of themselves. So I think there are people of high position, people are mature, people are educated. They're supposed to come together and think as one brain and solve the problem for the nation at large.
Well, I don't have much to say on that. I rather let the government deal with it. But all I can say, the little I can say, it's a very ticklish situation. We must realize that St. Lucia is going through a hard time right now. And only the government knows precisely what they can do and what they cannot do. And at the end of the day, we have to take into consideration our country. We want this country to survive. We know we have a lot of debt, and we are doing something about paying it. I think VAT is imperative. Whether we like it or not, it's imperative. My consideration is we started the VAT too high. We could have started at 7-8% and every year grow gradually. You know, I believe that's what we should have done. But when we start at so high, it has an effect on everybody, and not just a small effect, but a huge 15% effect. That's not small. So at the end of the day, I leave the government to deal with it. I am certainly sure that wisdom will come in there, and they will do the right thing. And likewise, the union, they will do the right thing for St. Lucia. What's imperative is St. Lucia, we need to keep St. Lucia in mind. That's imperative.
There are more solutions coming up after this break. Stay with us and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Solutions on Choice TV. The people are discussing the impasse on wage negotiations between the government and the unions. Let's hear their solutions.
In terms of government increases rather, I think the civil service or the civil servants should be very well paid to motivate them to be more productive and to deliver the goods that we need to be delivered, because basically government is the agency that provides goods and services and regulation. So if civil servants are underpaid, you can probably imagine what could happen. But also civil servants should take into consideration the economic situation of the world and the country and decide whether they want to help the country by being productive, even sacrificing greater luxuries. That's a consideration both for the civil servants and for the government at heart.
I believe to myself, the government can do better. They're just trying to be a little hard on the workers. I think they should just try and negotiate and give the workers something at least they will be satisfied of, and then they will call a judge from there.
Honestly, it should be a wage increase around the island, not just for one set of persons. I mean, it should be for hotel workers, for doctors, for lawyers, for everybody. Because for me, the VAT is a good idea. I'm not saying they shouldn't implement VAT. It should be there because they have to eventually bring in VAT. But what the government should have done before they implement VAT is to look at the wage increase around the island, look at the minimum wage, see what they could do to better that, and then put in VAT. But right now, then the government needs to do something with wage increase around the island for every single person, for the lower paid workers to the higher class paid workers, every single body. We need to look in, the government needs to look into that.
What I noticed about the unions, I realized some of them, when it was the other government, they had the mist blower fanning the fire under the government. But what I noticed now they're doing, they have a piece of cardboard fanning the fire and it's not putting enough heat under the Prime Minister to give the civil servant what they're looking for. All I would like to see is after he have given them what they deserve, make them produce work for their money. Okay?
My solution, my idea, my perception, in other words, you cannot give what you don't have. Bottom line. So, this is my beloved country. Everybody should sacrifice to take it back where it belongs to. So, that is just basically my point of view.
Listen to the Prime Minister's speech. He said that the country cannot afford to give the civil servants an increase at this time. I mean, man, come on, the civil servants should understand well. I mean, we're living in a global situation. Right now, we're everywhere in this world of today. Things are bad. Now, I mean, they could, accept the $1,000 that they give them. You know what I mean? And then next year they could negotiate for better salary. You understand?
What goes around comes around. What's good for Peter is good for Paul. And I always tell people, when you're living in a glass house, please do not throw stones. It happened in the past where the past administration, when they were in fight with the unions and the teachers, the present administration did not support them. They threw stones. So now you're living in a glass house, take your stone. But I believe the talk that the Prime Minister had on the television Sunday night, he only compared salary with other countries of St. Lucia. We have already been classified as a medium country where everything is medium. Why go back to Dominica, Grenada, and so on? The teachers asked for the raise. Let's negotiate. Do not just come and tell them you get them a $1,000 fee and a 000. What is 000 point? It is nothing. There should be a better negotiation, and I'm not satisfied with what he said and with all the threat talk that he has going on and threatening people and so on. No. He can do better than that. He promised better days. Now is the time to show up. Show up with the better days that you promised with.
I'm a St. Lucian, and I'm very much concerned about my country and the people of St. Lucia. I have a problem with the VAT. The problem I have with the VAT, they should really move it off medication, because there are several people who are retired and they are ageable and they cannot afford half of the medication, plus with the VAT on it. That's a thing I have a problem with. The other problem I have, I concern because I'm a parent, I'm a father, I have children. Presently, I'm fathering 7 children. I have 4 children in school now. I have 3 at the primary, and I still have 1 at the infant. I'm concerned about the job situation in St. Lucia. If there is no work for the nation, for the people of St. Lucia, what do we expect from our younger population? Do you think I want to see drugs, prostitution, and homosexual in St. Lucia as my country, the place where I was born and raised, and I think I'm going to live and die here also? No. The other thing I want to say, I wish the government well. I think the Prime Minister mean well to St. Lucia, but presently things are not working in St. Lucian's favor. As far as I can see it, one set of people are obtaining various work In St. Lucia, for instance, I am a petty contractor, and I recognize it's 1 year now since the government are in power, since the Labour government are in office. But communication is not calling me. I walk up and down through communication, I get sick and tired. So now I have to come and sit at the park, doing nothing. But I would do anything as long as I'm getting paid and it is legal. I would wash cars, I would do a little job for people, but that I'm not satisfied because I have debt myself.
The global economic disaster of the last few years has taken a toll on this country as we struggle to stay afloat in the backwash of the financial calamity of the first world giants. The government had no choice but to institute VAT to raise much-needed revenue, while the people now clamour for an increase in wages to offset the rising cost of living. The government can't afford an increase in wages, while the people can't afford an increase in the cost of living. At the same time, the children wander the streets on afternoons, their youthful energy channeled into negative activities that only serve to create more problems for the future. Should there be more after-school programs for students? Who will pay for these programs? Will they be funded by the government, or will parents be burdened with an additional cost of care for their children? These were some of the answers, the solutions presented by you, the people. If you have something to say, we want to hear. Look out for the Choice TV crew for a chance to present your solution to the country. Join us again next week for more Solutions.
Well, my solution is bring back
the
hand.
No, so I just came home last Monday and hence so much things happening. I work on a cruise ship. I just on vacation.
Not everyone that's in the prison that is guilty, but we have a university center criminal